All right, everybody, we'll start the meeting. Thank you very much for coming. There's one agenda addition would be to approve the liquor license for Jerry's. Does anybody want to make a motion and put that on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we add that under at the end of new business.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, is there any other additions or deletions? Not hearing any. Approval of the minutes from December 8th.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion around that? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, passed. Highway, road work.
There's just a comment I want to make with our winter storms and stuff. We're finding a lot of people plowing across the road. And for one thing, it is illegal, but if they do plow across the road, whether it be a private landowner or if they hire it done, at least pick up the mess. They're leaving ridges in the road, which causes incidences and stuff like that. But like I said, it is illegal to plow across the road. I know there's some places that have to because they have no place to put it, but that's pretty much it. We're geared up and ready to go for what we got coming in tomorrow and Friday for snow or whatever.
Can you stop that from coming?
To light a big fire.
We will try. That's about all I have, Mr. Chairman.
That's all? Anybody have any questions from the board? Road Commissioner? Okay. Approval of Selectboard warrants. They're approved. Where are they?
I don't know.
I don't think they're up here yet.
Not up here yet. We've got enough on our desk right now.
Anybody wants to?
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Just too focused on budget.
Starts. While that's being signed, there any guests? Public comments. Old business. All right, new business. Bids for year 27 transfer station mowing. We have one here someplace.
We only have one bid.
That's all I see. That's all you have?
Yes, just the one.
All right, George, you want to open that? And take a look
Do we
at
know
it?
who it came from, Ken?
No.
Okay.
Are we working that in with the rec field?
I think we
One
did.
unit?
I think in the past they did, didn't they?
Yes.
Decide to use based on the bids they received. I believe they had only received one bid as well, also from the same contractor. I'm not sure if they decided to go with that or if they decided to keep it open. I have not heard from Sarah, so I'm not sure where they stand. I know there's a few members of the rec committee here. Do you guys have a mowing update? Have you guys met? I think you guys weren't gonna be meeting again until January, right?
Right.
So probably you guys
I
will
don't know
just,
anything. I know Sarah's gonna be here tonight, so you could probably ask her.
Okay.
Her son had a game, so that's where she's at.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, board members, we have a bid from Martell Property Services. The price of $65 per time, estimated $25, total of $1,625 dollars. Additional above that is $75 per hour. That's what we have.
We only have the one bid.
We only have the one bid. There it is if anybody wants to see it.
Do we want to wait a little bit longer, see if we can get any other bids in?
Was that only actually fair with, we've already publicized what the bid is?
Yeah.
The bids were put out
How much is it?
$65.
Page.
And
And
that's-
I know they were shared. It shows
Per-
that they were shared X
That's-
amount of
oh,
times.
okay.
Like, I'd have to look to see,
With
but
an estimate of 25 moments. 65.
just so people know, like, where they're posted. They were posted here at the town hall, they were posted on the website, and they were posted, on the Clarendon Facebook community page.
For somebody to haul their equipment in,
65 bucks.
unload it, and mow, and then load it back up and go to another project, I think that's within reason.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's not,
If that's the case, do we wanna make a, motion?
I'll move we accept the bid that has been submitted.
I'll second it.
Let the record show that I'm recusing myself due to a family relationship.
Alright. Any other comments?
We're
Alright,
gonna see what Sarah has to say about, because if you wanna combine that with the rec field, the rec committee,
That's up to you guys. They're really two, I mean,
There are actually two entities.
We've got the one for the field, right? No?
I mean, that's,
they
The
haven't
other
awarded,
day.
they haven't awarded it yet.
I don't believe the rec
Oh,
is
the
meeting
rate
until
hasn't
January.
awarded their,
The rec
Right.
has not awarded theirs yet,
okay.
although this is the company they had last year.
He's bidding $75 an hour and gets charged $65.
Yeah. And the 75 bucks an hour is for anything over.
Tree cleanup or whatever.
If
Oh,
there's
okay.
cleanup,
All
if
right.
there's whatever.
Well, you can still, you say he's be there less than an hour.
I would think so.
That's fine.
But again, I'm recusing on
I'm
this.
good with it for $65.
yeah, 75.
alright,
No,
Or
65. 65. 75 if it's extra.
there's a motion made and seconded. We've had brief discussion. Rob, you're standing down on this.
Mhm.
All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Anyone opposed? Alright,
Mr. Knapp, you're up.
yes, sir.
I should say Dr. Knapp, I'm sorry.
So thanks for putting me on the agenda. I'm here as a member of the Emergency Management Committee, a representative from Clarendon to the Rutland Regional Planning Board Emergency Management Committee. There's a meeting coming up on February 4th at the Rotary in Wallingford, and it is a 3-hour meeting, and the Emergency Management Committee is asking for representatives from the towns, because the purpose of the meeting is to do basically a needs assessment, to look at what resources are available, what resources are needed, how they could be obtained for the town, and also in cooperation with the other towns. There are five?
Yes.
Yeah, 5 sub-regions, and our sub-region includes Clarendon, Wallingford, Teignmouth, Shrewsbury, and Mount Holly, I think. So those 5 towns, the notion is to have reps from the town, possibly from the highway department, chairperson, possibly any other reps from the town that would like to attend. Also our emergency management director, and possibly town clerk, or perhaps the assistant, the admin for the select board. Normally I would be very happy to be there, but I'm actually going to be out of state. But I brought Eric Pulver, who's with the Rutland Department of Health, and Eric can talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah. So I did bring some sheets here, just so you can
Thank you.
sort of read these. Not necessarily right this moment, but in due time.
Thank you.
They're fresh off the printer, so they're sticking together. Yeah, so, like Craig was saying, so I'm Eric Pulver. I'm the Emergency Preparedness Specialist for the Department of Health, and I work out of the Rutland District Office, so I am right up there in Asa Bloomer. And together with Maggie O'Brien, our emergency planner at the Regional Planning Commission, Bill Jones, our BEM regional coordinator, and other towns, we kind of came up with this idea we are calling subregions. And so I was wrong earlier, we have 6 subregions. So we've taken Rutland County and we've kind of divided them up along with working with people from other towns. And we have 6 subregions. And like Craig was saying, we've done 2 subregions already, and now we're coming down here to the southeast, as we're calling it. And he is exactly right. What we're doing is we are basically bringing together what we're kind of calling neighbors helping neighbors, but at a town level. And so we know that down here in Clarendon, you might be working with Rutland City, Rutland Town, but it's unlikely you're going to be really doing much up there with Brandon. You're not going to necessarily do a whole lot with Fairhaven or West Haven, but you're going to do a whole lot with Shrewsbury. You're going to do a whole lot with Mount Holly. You're going to do a whole lot right around here with Wallingford. And so what we're doing is we're going down to those subregions, to that local level, and having a conversation with representatives from the towns and their neighboring towns. Because what we really are looking for is the ability to have towns not only know what they need to do, but when they're stabilized during an emergency or a disaster, they can then start reaching out and saying, hey, Wallingford, we're good, we're okay, what do you got? Do you need help? What do you need help with? What resources? What person, what people, what places, what things do you need? And then vice versa. If you're not necessarily stabilized yet, you could reach out to Wallingford or Shrewsbury or wherever and say, hey, we need X. We need this resources. Do you have it? And if they do, they can share it. And so we don't have to worry about trying to call every single town in Rutland County to try and find what you might need. You call the nearby ones, like you probably already will, but we want to sort of formalize that, and we want to kind of start putting those things into writing. We want to have MOUs. We want to help you all with FEMA public assistance documents and making sure, there's other towns in the region that are really good at that. Chittenden, Brandon, Castleton, Rutland City, etc. And taking that knowledge and being able to kind of pull it down into other areas. So, on February 4th, where this will be the 3rd subregion, there are facilitated discussion. You'll be with myself, Maggie O'Brien, Bill Jones, and others. We'll sit you all down in your own towns first, and then the last hour, we're going to bring all of the towns together, whoever's representing them, and you all are going to have a conversation with each other, because we think that's what's most important. You can sit there, you can listen to me, you can listen to Maggie, you can listen to Bill Jones talk, you can talk amongst yourselves, which you already do. But we want to really facilitate that collaboration and that cooperation, that communication with your neighbors, right? So that's kind of what we're doing right now. So this is the 3rd in that line, like I've said. And the other 2 have, that was the Northeast and the Northwest subregions. And they have really loved them. There's been a lot of engagement. Towns are really interested in it. And we're getting a lot of good information out of them. And so I can keep selling you all on this, but I'm really here to kind of answer any questions and really to have sort of hope that you all would have some representation for Clarendon at our sub-region meeting on the 4th.
Question on you were talking about the makeup of the meeting on the 4th.
Yeah.
And
It's February 4th.
or whatever it is, February 4th.
Yeah.
And I got the impression that what I think I just heard you say that you're going to have individual sessions with a town, or are you going to have everybody's going to be together discussing? I'm a little confused on what you said.
It's actually both. So I don't want to get too deep into like emergency management jargon and all that stuff. But basically, there's going to be 3 modules, as we call them. The first 2 modules will go through a scenario, and this scenario is very reminiscent of the floods of 23 and 24 in the north. And you will work with whoever's in your town that's attending this. You'll talk amongst yourselves. And then the 3rd module is when we bring everybody together. So all of the towns will come together. We'll be in a big U. And you'll all kind of talk with each other about, oh, I've got these resources. What do you have? Just kind of working together and starting this conversation.
So I presume you're aware of the size of the building when you say the Wallingford Rotary.
Yes,
I am.
Okay.
we did look at
Thought I'd
that.
mention that.
We did look at that. It's going to be a fun, tight, nice, cozy conversation.
Okay.
But unfortunately, it's one of those we don't want you all to come to somewhere else. We don't want you to come to Rutland City because that's not the Rutland City subregion. We want to be in the heart of the subregions.
That's fine.
Yeah. So
There might be heat.
And the other thing you guys were suggesting is the attendees ought to be some folks that are, select board or other administrative folks in the town. And I didn't hear anything about a citizen at large kind of thing.
I wouldn't say no to a citizen at large. The real key to this is going to be more of that town response to an emergency. And so while you will certainly have citizens, they will, stand up there. It's Vermont. It very much, people will stand up and help each other. We're really looking at that sort of systematic town level.
Okay.
And so it's select board, it's the EMDs, it's the town clerks, it's the road crews.
Planning commission, and
Yeah.
things like this,
Yeah.
because
Isn't that Jacobowski's type? Isn't he?
Matt Jacobowski.
Isn't he in charge of this?
He's the EMD here. I will add to what Eric just said, and that is that Eric sent me one of the reports, actually I think two of the reports, from the north, the sub-region in the north that I was thinking was the northeast that had been done, and I was really impressed with it. It's a comprehensive document, and it reflects a good amount of effort and a good amount of planning. This isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of the story, really. But the point is, be prepared. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
I had a question. Didn't we talk about this a while back, and we talked about it was like some of our equipment might end up way off, but this is, remember that?
I think this is more comprehensive than that, is what's being looked at, but I know this
You know what I'm talking about?
this board has taken a very firm stance that our equipment's not leaving Clarendon. So that would be a part of this discussion. Yeah, because I know, again, that has come up a few different times that this board has said no to that.
It has.
But that's a,
and that's what kept us out of joining
but that
the
can,
last time.
that doesn't mean you don't go to the meeting to see what
Right.
is being
Right.
looked at.
I mean, for each town, I suspect other towns are no different. The equipment that we have, I mean, we are very concerned. I mean, the money of buying and maintaining is heavy. And so for us to take and move a piece of equipment somewhere else, and I presume you guys are gonna cover any damage that's done to it.
So that's one of the reasons that we're doing this is so we take that to the zoom way out. So now we're going to go look at the federal level right now. Because of how FEMA works and how you get what's called public assistance. So that would be the reimbursement from FEMA for towns for all of their actions in a response. One of the things that's super important is documentation. And so if you were to say, hey, Wallingford, do you need a loader? And they say, yes, we do, to be able to get this debris or whatever. As long as that we have started this conversation, we're starting these things called MOUs or Memorandum of Understanding.
Yes.
That is actually what is redeemable from FEMA. And so if there is any damage or that use of it, Wallingford will pay, and then FEMA will reimburse Wallingford. Usually that's how it's supposed to happen. It's the real world. It's all sort of different things. So that's how it's supposed to happen. And what we know and what we are finding with these other two subregions is that you all know your gas stations, you all know your farmers, you all know everybody that has resources. And they've said, hey, if there's an emergency, something happens, come to me, I'll give you what you need, etc. But one of the things that we're starting to say now, which is usually those aren't written down. They're usually handshake agreements or they're, verbal. And what we say now is that handshake agreements are not reimbursable. So we need to write these down. That's really what's important. And I totally understand not wanting to share equipment. This stuff's super expensive. The towns own it, which basically means the people of the town own it. And that's, very important. And so not sending something all the way up to Brandon or sending something all the way up to Fairhaven is, sort of a valid concern. Totally 100% understand that. We're really looking at this much closer, right? So Wallingford might ask. And so it's not really going to go that far. And if we have these MOUs in place, we have this documentation, now we can start looking at FEMA to reimburse the use or anything like that in an emergency.
There's one thing I'll say about FEMA. I'm not impressed with their
Response.
well, not the response of paperwork and all that stuff, but of what their values they put on each piece of equipment
Yeah.
for dollars. It is terrible.
Yeah, so unfortunately there is a classification system for basically every resource, even, human being, man hours, stuff like that. That, unfortunately, I have nothing I can control.
Right.
But my thought process is something is better than nothing in sort of some of those ways. And, being able to help out your neighbors, I think, is also really important and what we're really looking to do.
Yeah, it leads me to add one more thing. Well, two more things. One is that if the town is interested, there is an RSVP process. So we would need to know who's going to be there. Like I said, I'll be going. But you are the folks that run this community. I've spent decades working with the Red Cross. And if there's one thing that I've learned from working with the Red Cross, is that when there's a disaster, it's all fine and good to say we'll handle it. But that's not, and I know that's not the reality. The reality is that depending on the size of the disaster, we need help. And with the Red Cross, for example, it's always the local response that starts. But it escalates based on need. And that's when other people come from all over everywhere, and equipment comes from everywhere, and it seems to me that that's what we need to take into consideration. And I think that's the way to go. That's my opinion.
We have that meeting scheduled with Kim, myself, and maybe Matt, was it? For sure.
Okay.
You're
So we got
talking
some
about-
representation.
Yeah, we've
Good.
already
Good.
been on board with it.
Good. Well, thank you for coming and sharing with us. And sounds like there's going to be at least maybe 3 there then.
3 or 4. Maybe I can put one of the select board members.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have the RSVPs been done?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I can do that.
If you're gonna bring cookies, I'll come.
I'm gonna bring those what you
I
got.
will say, and I want to make sure that this is one of the most important about these sub-region discussions we're doing, we do feed you lunch,
Oh, there you go.
all right?
Oh, is it like during the day?
It is, it's 10 to 1.
You and I can't go because we work.
Yeah. So unfortunately, there was just the way to try and get everybody at all towns and stuff like that. It couldn't really be an evening one because it might interfere with a bunch of other things. And so we're just like, well, let's make it during the day and feed them lunch. And so hopefully that can spur some
Well,
stuff.
that's a very nice incentive to lunch, but will there be cookies?
For you, yes.
I'm ready.
Perfect. Yeah. So
Thank
you can
you.
also RSVP directly on that sheet I just gave you. There's a QR code and all that kind of stuff. That'll go up to Maggie O'Brien at the Planning Commission and Regional Planning Commission. And yeah, we would love to have you and hopefully have this really good discussion and continue on in this third subregion have the exact same sort of taking a lot of good stuff out of it like the other two.
I'm gonna put this,
Yeah, I'd like to have that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Sarah came in at the right time. Local options tax proposal.
Thank you.
Want to speak to it?
It's got Sarah's name on it here.
What I wanted to say in regards to that, when I sent you guys the email, I guess mostly I would just have a question for y'all. and my
Sarah,
question-
can you stand like,
Oh, sorry.
I'm old
Yeah.
and don't hear
No,
as
no
well.
problem. So I said kind of mostly what I wanted to say in the email that I sent you all about what I wanted to say about it. But I do have a question for you. So it seems to be that when I mentioned putting it on the agenda, I was met with a lot of resistance. So that leads me to believe that one or some of you or all of you don't agree with the lot tax. Now, believe me, I would love to do away with all taxes in this world. However, we do need to increase revenue in this town. So my one question would be, if you're going to vote no on this, I don't know how you're going to vote, or if it's going to go to vote, or what's going to happen today. How are you proactively looking to bring revenue into this town, which is falling apart, our roads and our buildings, when we can't even put sidings on our buildings? And how, since y'all have sit on this board for a long time, I don't want to just hear words about how you're looking to increase and bring revenue. I want to know the action steps you have proactively taken during the period of time you've sat on this board in order to increase our revenue in this town. And that's my question. I don't have any other comments.
Do you want to speak to that?
Well, one of the things that I've been concerned about is that exact same question. In fact, I talked with our treasurer about it a little bit. You know, and my thought is that there should be some brainstorming on that very topic from folks that are concerned about that topic. And it seems to me that there should be a number of ways that might raise some revenue. Now, what I don't quite understand is this tax thing entirely. I mean, I've read some of the emails information like that Robert put out, and I understand there is a question because half the town has, I mean, that there's 2 addresses in our towns, which is going to make it difficult. So I guess for me, I'm not sure I understand the whole process of this 1% tax and how it all works. That's the first question I have that I don't know the answer to. Second one is, how many businesses in towns that we would have that this would affect? And how about the businesses that are out of town that we would be involved in terms of this 1% thing? So I would guess if you mail order something, you got a tax there, right?
Depending on what it is.
On delivery.
You have to remember groceries are exempt, soft goods are exempt, vehicles are exempt. So, I mean,
So it's kind of retail items that we're talking
hard
about.
goods.
And
Hard
jet
good.
fuel.
It's-
You can't tax jet fuel with 1%.
I can't hear you.
You can tax jet fuel with 1%. So everything coming in and out of the airport, every time a gallon of jet fuel is used, we get 1% tax off of that. Now, say only 5,000 comes in a year, that's more than we're making right now. Why would we even consider turning away more coming in? That's not hurting us because we don't have stores in this town. There's industries in this town and jet fuel, like that's not coming from our patrons.
Well, if we're concerned with stuff coming through orders, which I guess that would be a tax, that's going to affect the town citizens, right? Am I correct on that?
Because they're just gonna raise the rates.
So what are we ordering from in this town?
You can order from Country Store, you can order from Amazon, you can order from, I guess Walmart is trying to give Amazon competition, as I understand it. So that's, I don't know how it works well enough,
My
I
understanding
guess.
is the goods, like if we sell 10 gallons of jet fuel, we get 1% of that, from my understanding. So like, if you sell a certain amount of goods, 1% of that comes directly to the town, and of course they take a percentage off of it because Heidi doesn't have to do anything. The state does that, from my understanding. I don't understand it fully, but like, they do it, it just comes directly off the top.
They take 30% plus,
30%.
plus an administrative fee.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is hard, but it's still more than we have coming in right now.
You get about half of what you collect.
But what are we bringing in right now, everybody? So we only get 50% of, $500 is 200, that's still plus from what we're bringing in right now, which is nothing. Our buildings are falling apart. Our roads are falling apart. I would love another option. I don't think any of us should ever have to pay taxes.
Well, again, the question in my mind is, it would be nice to have some idea of the magnitude of possibility. I mean, you're talking about jet fuel, well, okay, that's a concrete item, but
Yes,
what
sir.
else is there? I mean, now, sales at Vermont Country Store, I mean, would they be taxable? That kind of thing.
Only if it's delivered to Clarendon.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
only if it's delivered in half of Clarendon, because half of Clarendon has a West Rutland
Yeah.
address.
Well, that popped in my mind when we first started talking about this. But I guess my position at this point is that the board that is sitting here, I think we ought to maybe spend some time on a workshop and have a little more discussion on the whole idea of revenue, whether it's this tax thing or anything else. That's what I've been kind of wondering if we shouldn't be doing. I mean, I'm looking at the Grange, for example, which is empty and a pretty good building for a lot of reasons. It needs to be more utilized, and I think there's a couple of different ways maybe we could do that. But it would involve getting that committee here and chatting with them, I think. We are gonna have maybe another building that has a possibility of, I'm talking about the schoolhouse at some point, might generate at least income for you guys on your group to help in the maintenance of that building. So it seems to me that we ought to have a discussion on it. Maybe fundraisers. You know, I'm thinking about the buildings or the equipment. We're always struggling with equipment. We're always struggling with maintenance of buildings. Maybe we have some kind of a yard sale fundraiser of some kind. Now, for years, I was involved in a fundraiser where we auctioned off an automobile, and this was at a school in Randolph, which is not a very big school, a big area even, and we would raise upwards of 10 to 20,000 for auctioning off a car. So that's the kind of discussion I think we need to have, and I would suggest, or I guess I would even put it in a form of a motion. I move that we schedule a workshop to talk about the issue of more revenue for the town of Clarendon. So there's a motion.
Is there a second for discussion?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay. So, you've got a second, Mr. Chair.
Right, so all those in favor of the motion,
Well,
please say aye.
Discussion. Right?
Discussion.
Yeah, just a discussion.
So what are you proposing, George? Because I'm just curious. I mean, I seconded for discussion. So
Yes, I understand.
what's your proposal here?
I'm not proposing anything significant and concrete at this point, and I just threw out the suggestions of fundraisers. I threw out the suggestion of using a space in some form to raise money. I mean, one of the things that's, we have the farmer's market in Rutland, okay? But what I haven't seen is an independent kind of craft sale place. At one point, the elementary school, I don't know if they're still doing it, would use their auditorium or their gym there and would rent tables out, $25 a table, for people to display their handmade items, you know, and we could certainly maybe do something like that. I mean, those are just my off the top of things. Maybe there's something I haven't even thought about, but that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And maybe we need to talk about this tax a little more in terms of is it possible and does it make sense to even try it? So that's all I got.
90%, I don't know what the percentage is, I shouldn't say it, of Clarendon is agriculture. In agricultural, there's no tax. This is not going to apply to anybody that's buying anything through agriculture. I can go to Loomis's as agriculture, and you can buy a snow blower and not pay that tax. Just something to keep in mind.
When this was first brought up, we came in and I worked with Bob and Kevin and Heidi, and we were calculating what businesses are in town, and I think there was a total of 31 or 33 businesses. However, where this would, where we would see any money, there was only, I think, 19 or 18 businesses that we could even consider. So when we did the, we put together some figures and we came out to where it was, how much, Heidi? How much, when we were doing this calculation, how much taxes would we, technically, would we get with just the businesses that are applicable for this 1% tax?
We didn't have a total figure because I think we priced it out on like what a ton of pellets, what you would receive back, and it was like $3 or something like that.
Aren't pellets not taxed because they're for home use?
I'm not sure.
When I buy pellets, I don't pay sales tax because there's an exemption for pellets because it's used for home.
So I think that
There's so many,
The
there's so many
figure was
exemptions on
so
it.
just just take it as like it was like a $380 expense or something like that, and you would end up getting just a couple dollars off of it, kind of a thing.
There are a lot of exemptions that you don't even think about, that there's people that have certificates that can go into almost any place and buy something and not pay any sales tax. So in order to know what you're gonna get, you're gonna have to figure out what all the exemptions are and see how many of those are going to apply to the businesses that are here in town. If they're not gonna collect anything, it's a kind of a waste.
I believe in, like George said, brainstorming a little bit, get more in depth, and I was actually for this until I learned a lot more about it, the 1% tax. My thing is, whatever it takes to drive revenue, that take the burden off the taxpayer. I mean, our trucks today, the last one we bought, 2021, was 240,000. The new one today is 300,000. Everything's inflating on us. We're just looking at other different ways we can bring in revenue, and I think brainstorm with everybody of different things. It's all gonna, be small stuff, but
Well, personally, for me, I'm reading off of some of the replies on Facebook. I didn't see anybody that was in favor of this,
It was quite the opposite.
taxpayer
actually,
wise.
What I saw.
It's
Mr. Chairman.
Heavy the opposite.
And so for me, I'm representing the taxpayers in town. And at this point, I don't see any reason to do this.
Well, we're really talking about more than this 1% tax in this motion.
Well, and I think, multiple discussions have happened over the years. This is not the first time this has come
No.
up.
Of course, yeah.
It's probably the second or third time since I've been here that this has come up.
No, when you're saying this, you're talking the tax?
The LOT tax.
Yes.
I mean, it's at least the second or third. And the revenue stream was minuscule, was part of the discussion, and every time what we came back to and what we have discussed multiple times is the fact that the grand list is where, whether we like it or not, when we talk about revenue for the town, especially the industrial revenue up in the industrial park and different aspects, that's where we offset what the residents ultimately are paying, is that, which is why, I mean, since I've been here, you asked about what has been done. We've had at least 5 or 6 meetings, probably more than that, with, they're not called, are they still called Riddick?
Riddick.
But we've talked about the industrial park, multiple times, and have come close to 3 rather large industrial businesses, and they just haven't panned out. But this board, at least since I've been on it, has been actively involved in at least 3
Yep.
major businesses that we tried to draw into town that, again,
The other thing.
didn't pan out.
The other thing to think about, though, with the industrial park, we're sharing tax revenue with Rutland
Oh, absolutely.
in that contract. However,
That's
that
going to expire.
contract, I think in 4 years now.
2032, I believe it is.
It's coming up in its early 30s.
Yeah. So we'll see some advantage to that too. Extra,
When the contract expires.
right.
Yep.
All that money will be given to the town then.
Well, in my mind, this workshop that I'm proposing, I think we ought to put some discussion on the big elephant in the room, which is the school taxes.
That's we've had that discussion in our budget meeting. The school tax is the ultimate drain on everybody, and until we have a discussion about school taxes,
Somebody has a hand up. Yes.
We just moved here last year.
I'm sorry?
We just moved here last year from New Jersey.
Yep.
And our taxes in New Jersey are ridiculous for school tax. My question is, where are you going to get the revenue from besides taxing the homeowners?
And the other thing with that is, and I'm in this situation, I am retired.
Right,
I'm
So wait.
existing on Social Security.
right.
And how much additional social security do I get every year? Not very much. So,
I do have two comments. I think it is important to clarify this board is not in charge of anything school budget related at all.
that's right.
It's just the municipal portion of the budgets. The school board in the MRU USD school board is the one who puts together the school budgets, has authority over what those budgets are, and then that is the budget that goes to the voters. This particular board is everything else for the building, like our buildings, not the school buildings, and our roads, etc. I'm happy to share what our budget looks like with you as well, and we can get you a copy of the town report so you can have that comprehensive to look over. But my other comment, a few minutes ago when you just asked me a question and I hadn't heard, it's because I was sending an email out to the Vermont Municipal Clerks Treasurers Association to kind of get a jump on the conversation that you guys are having, just saying that we're deep in discussion, trying to offset growing expenditures by exploring avenues for revenue, and what different things are you folks doing to help lessen the burden of the taxpayer as far as where your revenues come from. That way we can start getting some feedback from other towns as to what other towns are doing to also try to reduce that burden to the taxpayer. So just, I will keep you guys posted as to what feedback I get from other towns as far as what they're trying or what they're doing. I just wanted to
Well,
let you know.
that certainly goes to George's motion
Yeah, to have a discussion.
have further discussions.
Yep.
I mean, I've been involved in school type things and kid club things for a long time. And my mantra has always been, some money is better than no money. Whatever you're doing to get any kind of income, get what you can. And yeah, maybe 5,000 would help, maybe it wouldn't, but you don't know until you try. I mean, I know you guys at your school do a heck of a lot of fundraising, and I know that's, you need to do that constantly, and
Sure.
and I enjoy being involved in it. I mean, I contribute a little bit, and I'm pleased to do that. But I mean, again, in your case, I'm sure, and anything you do, that if you cover expenses of doing it, you're ahead farther than if you'd never done it.
Sure.
So, anyways, I'm done.
All right, there's,
Jim's
Yes,
Jim's
Jim.
hand was up first.
In years past and everything else, I've always been taught that you get rid of some of the luxuries we have, and sometimes that'll make you a lot of money. And I hate to say it, but one of my biggest irks in town here is the rec committee. What do I get out of the rec committee? And we're putting what, $8,000-9,000 a year out for the rec committee, plus we had the town crew over there for a month clearing trees and burning brush and everything, so we were paying them that the rec committee wasn't paying and everything else. I'm seeing $10,000 right there, just abolishing paying the rec committee in the rec fields and let them take care of themselves if we want to start earning money.
I'm seeing the rec committee is just starting out, and give them a chance, move forward, starting with concession stands and stuff like that, and give them the reins to see what they can do to help
Yes.
supplement some of that.
I was on the rec committee for about 8 or 9 years, I think, back a couple of decades ago. And we had no support, and everything that got done was done by volunteers. And there's only so far you can go with that. Recreation's got to be a consideration as well in a town. To draw people in, you have to have resources and you have to have something to offer to people. I like your notion, George, of doing fundraisers and things like that. I've done a lot of that as well, with scouting and different youth organizations, including the Clarendon Little League. But what we're really talking about is the need for sustainable income streams.
Yep.
My understanding was that Subaru was kind of coming down to the old International building. If that's true, that should be some resources, some income right there.
no, that's not involved, any selling cars and stuff like that. can't get any money out of it.
My understanding is they're tied up in Act 250 right now anyway.
And you don't pay tax on a vehicle till you go to register it. You don't pay tax to the dealership, so.
Well,
As far as the local option tax goes, but
There wouldn't be any benefit from local options.
they're still paying their property taxes.
It'll help on the property
And
tax
then
side.
they have their personal property taxes that they'll
Yep.
be paying as well.
Well, I just add one more thing, and that is, you know, Robert, when you were talking about making efforts to bring on three different occasions to bring a business in, I think that that's frankly the way to go. And if you
Sure.
didn't make it happen the third time, maybe it will happen the fourth time, and if not the fourth, maybe the fifth.
Yeah.
But if we don't continue to try, nothing's going to happen.
And I think it's fair to say too, the most recent one was about 18 months ago. We had one that we had some conversations with, and then there was another building vacant in another town, and they went to that building. You know, but like we have not sat on our thumbs, you know, trying to think, you know, trying to just let stuff happen. But there's been active discussions, and of course I know we'll have to get acquainted with whoever's stepping in. Lyle used to come down quite often and have discussions with us, and you know, now it'll depend on who's going to be really in that role going forward. But
He's gone to work with the big boys.
yeah, but you know, the big thing is every discussion like this that we have had has always come back to how do we get more businesses on the grand list to offset some of what ultimately the residents are paying.
Well, maybe it's not about our buildings, maybe it's about land, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Act 250, up here.
Well, a lot of it. I mean, you know, this board. I realize there's been a lot of turnover, but you and I were heavily involved in getting Garvey Nissan into town, for example. Garvey Nissan took us 2 years, if at least. It took almost 3 years, I think, just to get the dealership in town and all the hoops that had to be jumped through. So, I mean, but yet, now that's another taxpayer on the grand list that is contributing into the tax base. So, diversifying the tax base is the biggest piece. That's been what's been talked about for a very long time.
So according to the town plan, if you guys read it, since we started bringing industries in, sorry George, I'm gonna stand up. In 1990, the industries went from like 40,000 in tax up to 300,000, and since you brought in industrial into this town, we have continued on the decline. In fact, we're the second fastest declining place out of all the surrounding areas since we brought industry into Clarendon. So something is not right, and it needs to be dug into further, saying, oh, we're going to bring more industry in and we're going to continue up. Our taxes have actually increased because the population continues to decline and is on a steady decline in Clarendon and nowhere else around us since industry has come in 1990. And that's on the town plan if you want to read that, which should have been read prior to this meeting.
But a lot of that decline too is the cost of property and stuff. I mean, when I bought my house up there, I think it was 179,000. Look what it's just assessed at
But
now.
with all due respect, there's a direct correlation between industrial coming in and the town declining on a steady decline. And if we do not change that, our town will not be here because the population continues to age out. That's what's happening. That's all in the town plan. These are just facts, and it's not my opinion. They're just facts. So we have to question from like a valid business standpoint, which is what we're running here, what is going on and how do we change that? Is it really bringing in more industry? Or do we go back to what the heart of the town is? It seems like we're wasting money on the recreation committee, but like you guys, the flag, I'm not a Vermonter, obviously, but the flag you guys fly is united and freedom. This town is anything but united. Unity comes from connection. So it may seem like we're going backwards with the rec committee and trying to unite this town, but that's like if we can get united and stop with the division, maybe we'd have a town. But right now, what is the vision? What is you guys' vision for this town? I've asked that like 5 times and never got an answer. So we're never going to be going in the proper direction until I know what the vision is. And then I can get behind that or not.
You know, we've talked about this, Sarah, and when we first talked about it, it sounded like a great idea. The more I've looked into it, is more tax the right idea? Is that what people want? Is that what everybody, ask anybody in here, if you had one of these businesses and said, you gotta surrender a 1% tax to the town of Clarendon, what are you gonna do?
I do have a business in Clarendon.
What are you gonna do though? Are you gonna raise your price 2% to cover
No,
that tax?
1%, no.
You know what I mean?
Because I want the money to go back to my town. But I agree with
Right,
you. I'm not
okay.
saying that lot, but it's I'm trying something to bring,
I
to bring
understand that,
money.
and I appreciate
Like, we
that,
are on
Sarah.
a sinking ship, guys, whether you want to admit it
No,
or
I know
not.
what
I'm
you're
gonna
saying.
call
We
the
talked
truth
about
out.
it.
We're on a sinking ship, and the stats say that. And if we don't do something, even if it's like we only do this for a period of time and bring something in, like, we can't even paint or get siding for this building. Like, if this was a business you were running, just your private business, this town, y'all know what the answer would be about where it's going. And I'm not asking for you to confirm that. I'm just saying we are desperate right now.
If it was a business,
Hand over
personal
your
business,
corner, though, guy,
I would
like-
say you'd raise your
Okay.
prices.
Gary.
Every
ahead,
business
Gary,
raises
you
their
have something?
prices. Thank
Cover,
you.
to cover, so is that what people want, to raise their taxes? That's what you're proposing, 1%.
What
right.
what do we not? What do we have a choice on right now, though? If people care about this town, 1% more. I don't know. Come up with another option, please.
The other option is to also go to the school board, like the other members here have said. You know, they're 75% of the tax burden.
And where is that money going?
And where is that money
You
going?
don't have that many schools.
No.
The amount of people in this town, you do not have that many schools.
We have 6 buildings in that school area.
We have a question in the back. Go ahead.
Well, it's not a question. I wanted to clarify a few things. One is, I own a business. It's not a very big business, but I own a business.
Yep.
I'm not gonna pay this tax. I just want to clarify, it's not costing me a penny. Everybody says, oh, I'm gonna cost another penny. I'm not paying a penny. It's my customer who's gonna pay the 1%.
That's what I was saying. You're gonna raise your
I'm
prices.
not gonna pay anything. They're
It's
gonna
just-
come in and instead of
Right.
charging them 6%,
Give them the minimum wage.
I'm gonna charge them 7%. So in that sense, it's no sweat off my brow if you guys decide to do it. I'm paying sales and use tax to the state of Vermont anyway, and I have to pay if somebody comes in from wherever and they drop into my building. I'm collecting the extra percent. I'm paying the extra percent. So I want to make sure everybody understands I'm not paying any more taxes. You're not paying any more taxes unless you walk into my store and you buy something from me. Then you're going to pay that 1%. So you know, it's not. And I just want to make sure. I keep hearing, oh, it's going to cost me 1% more. Unless you buy something from me, it's not going to cost you anymore. So I want to make sure we clarify that. So the second point I wanted to make, you've already made. What we should be doing is raising pitchforks at the school board. Because when my son went to Mill River, there was more students in Mill River than there are in the entire school district now. But Mill River still has the same budget going up, same staffing, same everything. Nothing's reflective of reality. We talk about running a business. If I was running a business which was the school system, we'd be bankrupt because it's nonsense what's going on. If we could lower the school budget some, we could keep our local tax the same, we could pay even less in our income real estate tax, and we'd have more money for revenue still. So the place to raise pitchforks and everything is at the school board. We ought to be out there protesting them until they come to reality. I understand there's a lot that goes on. Last thing I want to say is, we talk about unity and everything else, and I've lived in this community now. I know I'm not a Vermonter, but I've lived here for 50 years now in Clarendon.
Close enough.
Close enough. My kids are all Vermonters, by the way. And I just want to say, I was really disappointed with the commentary on. I'm not in favor of this, by the way, Sarah. Nothing. I'm in favor.
no.
I'm in
Yeah.
favor of you.
I'm
I'm not in
you.
favor of the
And I pay the
tax.
1% because I'm there all the time.
Yeah, I'm not, but I'm not in favor of the tax, but I was really disappointed with our town's commentary to Sarah on Facebook. I mean, I felt like I was reading a political commentary of our government at this time where everybody's attacking everybody. That's nonsense. Sarah's bringing up a proposal, and she's right to do that. If we don't agree, we can civilly say, I don't agree with this idea. But we shouldn't be attacking Sarah because she's proposing something. We don't have to agree with it. We just have to treat it civilly.
I don't necessarily think especially
Well, some of the comments
me.
were very.
Some of the comments were.
Some of the comments were
rough.
awful, and I objected to that. The last thing I want to say is, I love the rec committee, because I'll tell you, my kids had to play on that ball field years ago, and it was an embarrassment to have my kids on that field. What a beautiful place we've created for our kids to play ball on and have activities. And so I'm not in favor of cutting it. And I know that you guys spent time over there, but it was the summertime, and I know you had some time that you could do those things for. So it's not like it was costing us a lot of money. We're paying our committee anyway, our road crew anyway. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for the rec committee, because I think you're doing good things. And thank you, Sarah, for moving here, because I think you've brought some good ideas. Not all of them, but some of them are good ideas.
Thanks, Gary. I appreciate that.
Very well said.
Call the motion, Mr. Chair.
All right, there's a motion made and seconded. We've had very long discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? My next question would be, when we have this discussion, we're going to include the members of the rec committee that are willing to come.
Include anybody that wants to come,
good.
as far as I'm concerned.
Workshops
It's a
are
work.
open
I was
to
going
the
to say
public.
workshops are open to the
Be
public.
open.
Yeah.
Open
I
meeting.
bet Sarah will volunteer to go.
I'll include somebody from the school board.
Yes,
That's
Yeah,
my
they
next
might get
step.
shot.
yes.
How about the crew, the whole board?
Well,
and again, just to
Not
wrap
gonna
up
get
the
anything.
discussion, and I'm always very careful what direction I go with comments about school, but all I'll say is 3/4 of your tax bill does not fund the municipal government, and that's the root of
I think the
that's
percentage.
the root of everything. It's probably over 3/4%
All
now.
right.
So
Heidi, what's the,
68.
what was last year's school tax and the town
68%,
tax?
if I remember right.
is it up that high now? It was hovering right around 50, but it's probably gone up now.
Oh, 68%.
So
I'd have to pull an annual report.
Well,
I have
don't
one on
don't
my
worry
computer.
about it then. We'll get to that
It's
later.
too much.
Way too much.
Well,
One of the things I can mention, and I don't have any problem of talking about school, because I don't have any conflict, I guess, that, it seems to be voted in every year, and the people have the power of the vote. Simple as that.
Well, I think though what happens is it gets voted down and it gets brought back up, and we wear down the people coming to vote, and so after a while, only the people who want it go
Very
to vote.
few.
I get tired of going and voting no every time. I admit that.
I understand that, and even if their budget goes down and it has to stay there, they can operate at a certain percentage of the last budget they have. So that there is a confluence of difficulties, other than having our legislatures smarten up and do something more useful with the whole school system in our state. We're asking 600,000 people, which is less than a medium-sized city in our country, and we have 600,000 in the state. Now, that's ridiculous for what we're asking that number to support. I mean, I went to school here in Clarendon, I don't think, well, no, you didn't either. One-room schoolhouse with an outdoor bathroom.
That was 2-room.
pretty lucky.
And I didn't have a guy in the back there, raise your hand.
I just had a tree out back.
Bob is also, Bob and I both went to one-room schoolhouses here in town.
calendar.
But our
Yeah,
school
yeah.
in Clarendon now has a gym for the teachers that's got all brand new equipment in it. I don't know when they're supposed to use it. I thought they're supposed to be teaching kids, but
Jim
that's
for
part of our
teachers.
budget money.
Well, school budget, yes. Anyways, let's move on.
Moving right along.
Get it out and vote for the school
Um,
budget.
Thank you everyone for getting involved with the conversation. All right, calendar year 2026 select board meeting scheduled. Gonna post this, I hope.
So before we approve, the only thing, and we did this last year, and I don't know if we want to do it again. November 9th, I'm just throwing it out there. I will not be available because we have parent-teacher conferences that run into the night. So I don't know if that's something we want to adjust again.
Well, that's our budget meeting.
I'm not even gonna be able to, but I can't tell you the dates right now.
Well, it's so November 9th. This year we ran into it and we actually moved to the Wednesday. because
Right, that's what I mean.
yeah, so it's up to the board if you want to bump to the Wednesday that week or
One-
not.
Well, it
Tonight.
seems to me we got two choices, move it to Wednesday or you assign your proxy to somebody.
Well, there you go.
That's it.
Oh, and that would put it on Veterans Day, so I would say leave it and and you'll just know where I am.
Okay, if we need you, we can.
Well, the
contact-
key thing in my mind is if it's a contentious issue,
We
and
can
if we
change
have
it
to, we
then.
can call you. I
Yeah.
mean,
That, yeah, as long as
We'll know about that going into it.
we would know that ahead of time,
Yes.
theoretically,
Yeah.
so.
All right, thank you. Rob, anything else, anybody?
Right now I have it the week before.
You know, there's probably gonna be one or two that.
So with that, I'll make a motion that we approve.
All right, motion made, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right,
In the interest of time, Mr. Chairman, I'll also make the motion that we approve the liquor license
license,
for, what's the actual name? Jerry's J&T Inc., which is gonna be going into the former Gouchbergs.
yep. All right,
Second.
second by George. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Heidi, do you have anything else? Kevin, you or Bob have anything? No. Okay. Kim?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let's, sounds good.
Tax liquor. No, I don't do tax liquor.
Donnie, do you have any concerns?
No concerns tonight, Mr. Chairman.
You might want to.
Rob, do you have any concerns?
I just heard the question. That's reserved for the state does.
What was that?
There was a question that I just overheard about
Tax liquor.
liquor taxes, and I said that's reserved to the state. The state collects
all
it.
state.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Liquor and tobacco is all state. So,
We just get to approve it.
Mr. Chairman, I just would wish everybody a very Merry Christmas.
Okay, back at you. Everybody, Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Happy New Year. Don't throw anything at George.
Well, I've been concerned about Santa Claus. Apparently, he's quite tired over his activities this past summer. He started a garden this past summer, and I asked the question, how come? And it turns out the reason he started this garden was so that he can hoe all year.
All right,
Give it to George.
do you have anything?
I'm good, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right. At this
On
time,
that note, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
So second.
all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?